We've got to match our actions with our rhetoric. For years, we've talked about being the party of low taxes, cutting spending. We went to Washington to change Washington. We got changed by Washington. Number two, we've got to stop defending corruption. We were rightfully criticizing the other party. And then finally, number three, we've got to be the party of ideas and solutions.
That was Bobby Jindal, the young governor of Louisiana, right after the election on Tuesday on Hannity and Combs. Tough medicine for a party that lost its way. Think about this. People get demoralized. It was only 4 years ago that Karl Rove was out there as a permanent Republican majority is on the horizon. It's possible. Well, yeah, it's possible if you actually act like a conservative when you govern. But it's not going to be possible if you are indistinguishable from liberals on spending and some other core issues. Joining us now, the aforementioned governor of the great state of Louisiana, Bobby Jindal. Bobby, good to have you on.
Laura, thank you for having me, and I couldn't agree with you more. I think that for Republicans to win elections, our actions have to match our rhetoric. We didn't give voters a clear choice. We were trying to defend spending and corruption we never would have allowed the Democrats to get away with, and that is one of the huge reasons Tuesday was such a bad day for Republican candidates across the country.
And, I feel like I need to be grandfathered in, but I need to call you governor. I mean, you're always going to be Bobby to me, but I've got to call you governor. Will you please forgive me for my lapse?
Please call me Bobby. It's an honor to have known you well before I was ever elected governor. But I'm so happy to hear you tell, because for too long we've hidden from the truth. We, as conservatives, as Republicans, we've made excuses. We've said, well, the other side did this. The mainstream media didn't like us. Well, the reality is, the New York Times is never going to endorse our candidates. They're never going to endorse our conservative causes. We need to stop making excuses. It's real simple. We have to match our actions with our rhetoric. We have to stop defending spending and earmarks. Secondly, we have to stop defending corruption. And third, we've got to offer real solutions. The last time we lost elections like this, you go back to the 90s. President Clinton got elected, majorities in the Democratic majorities in the Senate and the House. What did Republicans do? Conservative governors, and it came from the states, not from Washington, conservative governors, they started innovative policies like welfare reform. They said, why are we simply giving people checks to stay at home? Why not make them work? Why not make them go to school? And folks said it wouldn't work. Folks said, well, that's too radical. You're going to have rapid increases in poverty. And instead, you saw the largest drop in poverty we've ever seen. It's going to take that kind of policy innovation to win elections. It's not enough, for example, to say we're against a single-payer health care system. Of course we're against that. But we have to show voters how our solutions can work, how we can make health care affordable by using competition and choice. I think the real opportunity is for us to do this at the state level, what we should not do. The lesson we cannot take away from this election is to say, oh, well, the way to win elections is to become more like the Democratic Party.
Oh, we did that. We ran, with all due respect to John McCain, Governor Jindal, we ran a moderate Republican. We ran a moderate Republican when Bob Dole ran. We ran a moderate Republican, frankly, in 92 and George H.W. Bush ran. And these people are all patriots. I like them all personally. But they were moderate Republicans who did not energize conservatives and did not speak to conservatives in this country. That is just a fact. We should be done with this. It should be obvious, beyond obvious at this point.
Well, Laura, you make a great point. The reality is if you give voters a choice between somebody who's a genuine liberal and somebody who's pretending, well, they're going to vote for the real thing every time. We win elections by being authentic, by having the courage of our convictions. We really believe in lower taxes. We really believe in lower spending. We really believe in empowering individuals and small businesses. Let's act like it. And when we do that, voters will reward us. They will vote for us. You're right. There's no point in pretending to be what we're not. You don't win elections by, and I don't agree with his positions, and I wouldn't vote for him if I was in his state. But you've got to admire the consistency of a Ted Kennedy or some of the more liberal members of the Democratic Party. They know what they stand for, and they're unembarrassed to stand up for it.
Well, they nominated the most liberal person in their party. They didn't go moderate. On the Democrat side, they decided to go for everything. They went for the whole thing at this time. They didn't play around with DLC types. They played around with the far left, and they decided to market it, brand it, put the organizational structure in place, and sell it in all 50 states, and lo and behold, they won. Now, Governor Jindal, I want to talk about what we're talking about today on our show, which is the need for new leadership in the Republican Party, specifically on Capitol Hill. What is your take on the leadership? And again, all patriots, all want the best for this country, I understand. But a lot of these people on Capitol Hill now, Governor, would have been fired in the private sector for having failed to meet target after target after target, year after year after year.
Absolutely. And there are some good examples of genuine conservatives, young voices, new faces. You look at folks, and I'll give you specific examples. You look at folks like Mike Pence, former head of the RSC. You look at Paul Ryan out of Wisconsin, Eric Cantor. You look at, there's some, you've got Kevin McCarthy out of California. You've got some rising voices. You've got Jeb Hensarling, the current head of RSC. You've got some members on the Hill that understand the way that we're going to earn our way back in the majority. And we have to earn it is through ideas, is through policies, it's through solutions. But I do believe the future of the party is not going to be just in Washington, D.C., because as a minority party, the American people are looking for competence and solutions. I think the Founding Fathers were right not to try to concentrate power in Washington. They understood it's the states, it's local government, it's private sector. They wanted to get power out of the hands of the central government.
Well,
I think we should be looking for innovative solutions across the country from governors, from the private sector. But you're right, Laura, we can't keep doing the same things over and over and expecting a different result.
No, it's just a complete nightmare. And as you and I have discussed before, conservatism has to become the brand name for excellence. And we lost that. We lost that with frankly, Alberto Gonzales, with Mike Brown, with policy after policy pushed by this administration that was not popular with the people of this country, the people of the party, and the party went along with it, and lo and behold, here's where we are. We have a big federal bailout program that is wildly unpopular. All the exit polls showed it. I knew it. You probably knew it, and yet we're now the party that presided over that. So how does that sell?
When you're in a hole, stop digging. So when you've already spent too much, you don't spend another $700 billion. But the good news is there are two good news. There are two good opportunities for us. Number one, I think, with all due respect to President-elect Obama, and look, I think Senator McCain was gracious. He's the new president. We need to rally around the president and also disagree with him on principle. When we disagree with him, I think he's going to have a tough challenge. I think you hit it on the head. He was elected, and there was a pent-up demand among the Move On organization, among the Soros and the liberal wing of the Democratic Party, and he's going to have a tough time. Our new president's going to have a tough time because he's smart enough to know that this is still a center-right country, and yet he's going to have a lot of supporters that are expecting him to pursue fairly aggressively liberal policies. You remember President Clinton, first year of office, one of the first things they got involved with was gays in the military, and then it was Hillary Clinton's health care plan, and it was downhill for the administration from there. It wasn't until the Republican majority forced on him a balanced budget amendment, forced on him welfare reform and other conservative policies that you begin to see the Clinton numbers begin to improve. So President Obama is going to have, I think, a tough challenge. Does he appease his base or does he go where the country is? But our second opportunity is, look, and I hate losing. Look, I wanted us to win, but it also is liberating. For too long, the Republican message was the other side is worse. Or for too long, the Republican message was elect Republicans so they can hold on to power. Now it's up to us to say, you know what? We're going to show the American people our ideas work. In Louisiana, we cut taxes 6 times. We're giving parents of kids in failed schools in New Orleans real choice, including private schools. We're showing people that conservative policies work. We've cut spending 12% or $4 billion just over a year.
You're doing what you said you were going to do when you were inaugurated. You're following through on conservative principles, and I understand, Governor Jindal, you're helping educate a new generation of voters into this new understanding of principles that they really don't have any reason to know much about, because really, if you're under 30, you have never heard a president of the United States lay out the case for conservatism in a cogent manner. Think about that. It's really been since 1988 that anyone has heard a really strong defense and articulation of conservative principles.
Well, you make an excellent point. I came of age during the Reagan ascendancy, and certainly I think there's an opportunity. It's not just turning out our own voters. It's persuading new voters, building new coalitions by showing them that our ideas work. Our ideas are consistent with the American dream, that fundamentally, that if you value liberty and freedom, if you value private enterprise and risk-taking, if you value those things that make this such a great country, that our party will defend those principles. But we're not going to win elections. We're not going to win voter support till we actually act the way we talk. I mean, we have to give people a reason. You also are exactly right. It's about competency. We shouldn't be defending the Michael Browns and the FEMAs. And then also